Okay, so we're just about to do the main board replacement on this Marshall TSL100. So obviously JCM2000. You've got a few 100 watt and 50 watt models that suffer from bias drift issues, amongst other things. The other main one that pops up quite often is the DC heater leakage. So we've got the board that fixes that. That was designed here at Caldan Works. It's available only through valvetuberguitarants.com, and this board's called the ROS-2000. So we can drop this in. It's going to fix all the issues. I've got a separate video elsewhere that I think this is going to go up on Stuart's channel at Valvetube Guitarants, but on my Caldan Works channel is a big video describing the design process for this and all of the things that we've done to make it more reliable for you. This video is just really about showing you how to install it. So we've got this has come out of a TSL122 in this case. Obviously the other units that are affected, TSL122, TSL100 head, DSL100 head, DSL50 head. So your DSL401s and DSL601s have a different board in. They have their other issues that we can deal with, but they aren't compatible with this board. Okay, cool. So first step then is we'll take out the valves. Worth mentioning at this point, there would normally be a shroud on V1. That's obviously gone missing in the life of this this amp. So we'll get that replaced as part of the repair. There's also a few screws have gone missing on this one as well as part of the life of this amp. So it's possibly had a board replacement before. I've already looked underneath. This one is an issue 10 board that we've got. Okay, so first thing to do, and this is quite a long, laborious task, is to go around to take off each connector, label the connector with a Sharpie. So we'll get a Sharpie ready to do that. Label each connector with a number to say where it's come from. So in the case of this one here, we've got Con 8, so we'll write 8 on the connector there. Right, Con 7 on the connector for that one. The spade terminal headers, so these are 5.4mm spades. These are all labelled W on the board, so again we'll just write on the W there. It's also good to take a few photographs as well just before you start, but I would recommend writing the numbers down. In our installation notes there's also, let's get that on the screen, also a summary of what connector goes to where for the various models, so that'll help if you do end up mixing it up. But I would definitely recommend write down the connectors, take some photos, and then we can you can be sure that you don't go wrong. Yeah, so it's worth mentioning that some things obviously happened to this board in the past. Someone's obviously replaced one of the cathode resistors there by the look of it. They've done it topside, so why do they need the screws off? Who knows? So yeah, like I said, this one's an issue 10 board on this one here. Okay, let's get stuck in. So I'm just gonna pause while I do that, or maybe we can speed it up. Can we? Maybe speed it up. So I've looked out here, and all of the connectors are actually already labelled on this one. So I'm just going to check them as I go. That one wasn't. Worth mentioning that you need to pull the connector by the plastic body rather than by the cable as you take them out. If you're removing one which is a 6 or a 9, put a line underneath it so you know what the difference between your 6 and your 9. Great, okay, that's that lot. So next we're going to do the spade terminals. With these plastic ones at the end, you can use a pair of pliers to grab onto the plastic shroud to stop you pulling the wire. And again, pull on the metal rather than the wire on these connectors too. Okay, so next up, we've done all the con connectors, we've done all the W spade connectors. So next we're going to unscrew the Marshall boards. So we are going to we're going to flip over the board, the unit at this point. We're going to unscrew this. There would normally be 6 screws here, but there are only 2 left. Pop for those. So then you'll notice that there's one spade connector at the back there that you can't get to from the other side, so we're going to disconnect that one later. It's W1, and that'll also be the first one that we put back on when we're done. So I'm just going to move this out of the way now. So the next thing that we'd normally do is we'd remove the protective tape from the boards, from the preamp sockets on the new ROS-2000 board. This one's already had that done, so I'm not going to worry about that for now. I'm going to unscrew the Marshall board from here first of all. We've got one more to do down here. Okay, and next we're going to unscrew these octal valve screws from the valves here, from the valve sockets. Now we seem to be alright here, but in some cases you'll find these have snapped as well. These are available to replace, but unfortunately you will need to drill out the rivets. If you're going to do that, then obviously I would do it at the point when you've got the board taken out. So we're going to disconnect the bias connector as the last thing, but we're going to leave this unit inside. And we're going to finish unscrewing these board connectors here. I want it to just grip them as I do them. Or you can go. So if sometimes they'll bite into the sockets and you can just screw them all the way out. Sometimes they won't, and you just poke them out with a long screwdriver, long flat screwdriver like this one. Once that's done, remove them all from the back, like so. Just watch your fingers on the sharp bits of the PCB. Yeah, and then this is headed for the bin. Okay, so next up we're going to fit those same spacers into the holes on the back of the ROS-2000 board. This is the fiddliest bit of the whole job. Okay, so next up we take the board mounting panel from the original unit and we place our board in. We line the holes there. Sometimes these are a bit of a tight fit. In this case worked really nicely. If you need to, if you put something blunt, like say the blunt end of a socket into there, then you can use that to slightly manipulate the sockets, but usually they'll just drop in. It all depends on the dimensional tolerances of this board mounting panel from the original unit. Okay, cool. So next we secure the octal sockets. Okay, so we're now going to put the board mounting screws through from this side. We've got the other screws in from for mounting the octal sockets. So the only thing to mention is that if the plastic spacers have got slightly out of line whilst you're doing it, which in this case they seem alright, then you might just have to work them back into position with the screwdriver, with let's say a long screwdriver like that one, to work them back into position. But if you haven't knocked them out, then they'll be absolutely fine. Okay, so just making sure that they've all gone through that. So it's worth mentioning at this point that there is a slight bend in the PCB, and unfortunately that is there from the original design. We can't do anything about that. That's not to do with the ROS-2000 board. That's how it was. The same on these as well, on the old ones. In fact, you can probably, yeah, you can even see where it came out. There's a bit of a bend there. Not much to be done there. Okay, cool. So first thing to do, we'll fit that Con1 bias connector back in, and then we will go and get the rest of the unit. Okay, so I've got the TSL chassis back there, and I'm just going to slide this one through. Obviously note the orientation. And the first thing I like to do is to connect a couple of the spades that are going to be hard to get to once we've put that in. So the first one is spade W1. And then we're going to want to do number 3 as well, which is the white one there. And then we're also going to want to do number 4, which is that one there. Then we're going to flip the chassis over and screw it in from the other side again. It's worth mentioning at this point there's a W8 spade terminal down here that's not fitted on the ROS-2000 board, so that was fitted on some of the Marshall boards but not others. It's not used in any models, so that's why that's not on there. Okay, so I'm going to flip that board and we'll do that. Okay, so time to put some new screws in here. And so the original Marshall ones were an M3x6 screw and a little spring washer. I'm just fitting some new ones because they were missing on these. I'm just fitting some new ones with a captive tooth washer, because I prefer captive tooth washers for metal to metal interfaces. If you screw it into plastic or a PCB, then the spring works quite nicely, but it's actually way better than the tooth washer. But when you're doing these, definitely tooth washers. Okay, I'll flip the board back again. And at this point we've got to reconnect all the con connectors, so hopefully you did a great job of labelling them before, and we just fit them into the correct holes. So, con 8, con 11, con 13, con 12, con 7, con 4, con 5, con 3, con 6, con 2. It's worth mentioning con 2 is facing the opposite way to the others. It shouldn't be an issue, it's just a little quirk. Con 9, con 10, Good. Right. Okay. So after that, we fit all of the W spade terminals. So we're going to start off on this side with 14. Well, where's this plate go? W2 down here. Okay, so it's worth now just checking that everything is connected. So we've got all the important bits connected, bias connections, we've got all the transformers, we've got the anodes. That's good. So a couple of things to just mention. We obviously double, triple check all of your connections are reconnected, because if you miss, say, a bias connection or something like that, then things won't be happy. So you do have to make sure that's all been plumbed in correctly. Couple of things to say. So Con 12, which is this one here, if you had a DSL50 or 100 variant that you're fitting, then that wouldn't be there, because that's to do with your extra channel stuff that you have on your TSL. We mentioned about the Con 2 connection there. So Con 2 connection is facing the opposite way to the other connectors on the board. It's just a little quirk. Okay, that's great. Next thing to do is to put some valves in it. Okay, so we've got a new set of valves ready to go in. I'm using JJ's at the moment. In this particular model we're putting EL34-2s in, which I've always found to be very reliable valves. So we're going to pop these in, and then it's time to get it biased. So when you're fitting the power valves, obviously make sure that the key lines up with the key on the optical sockets. In this case I've bent in the spare cage clamp a little bit further, so it's fouling that. Okay, so now it's time to bias the amp.